Hello, my friends from around the world. This is Lada from astrolada.com. And today I'm here with my colleague, astrologer Marina, but she's more than just an astrologer. She's a deeply healing person who has mastered some incredible healing techniques that are given to humanity recently. As you know, the masters from above always dispense their knowledge to those that with open antennas to receive and download such ready-made methods. And Marina she even tested it on me. It's called GSR.
GSR, yes.
And it's incredible. So we want to share to you about this new method. And hello, Marina. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yes, me too. Hi, Lada. Thanks for having me. I'm beyond excited to share this, and I think it will be very helpful for people because we will explain, of course, how this method works and how it can benefit people. But I would like also to talk a little bit about generally how things work for everybody, so people will find some answers and they will know whatever they want to solve in their life, like a problem they want to resolve or a goal they want to achieve. They will know what might be stopping them, or generally how the psyche works. So it would be like a presentation of this method, but also it would be an educational conversation in which, yes, we will introduce people to a different type of perspective, which can also provide many answers. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite revolutionary what you did to me, and the effect is immediate, and it doesn't involve too much digging into the past for years and answering yourself, because I'm an Aries. I want future fast results. I don't want to stay in the past too much and talk about it. I want action now. And Marina is my go-to person every time I'm in crisis, because she's an incredible healer with many healing methods. But a few months ago, she called me so excited. She said, this is something revolutionary, what I've discovered and what I've learned. And I said, let me read about it. She said, there is nothing on the internet about it unless you read Russian, because it's a method invented there. So carry on, sorry.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for the introduction. Yes, I would like us to change this. So I hope that we will be able to create more things for people in English, so it's accessible to more people, because I can honestly say that this is the best method I have found so far. And I have tried a lot, like personally for myself, professionally, I've been trained in different modalities. But this one is the deepest, most transformational method I have found so far. So let's introduce it to people. So probably they are already curious. Let's just describe what it is. Basically, what we are doing is we are working with specific focus which you define. It's either a problem you want to resolve or a goal you want to achieve. If you think about it, pretty much everything in life is one of those things. We either have some kind of problem, something that makes us uncomfortable or is painful or whatever, and we want to kind of like get rid of that, or we have a goal. We want to achieve something. We want to have something. And we start from there. Like you say, I want to have more of this, or I feel bad, or I want to change something in my life. And that can be about any life area you can think of, from the emotional, internal things like anxiety, stress, overwhelm, all the negative emotions you can imagine, but also concrete things in your life. For example, difficulties in relationships or money issues, or even psychosomatic issues, everything from the human experience.
Yeah, like I told you, I have claustrophobia. It's so bad. I've done so many healing methods, hypnotherapy and whatnot, to the extent that I can't go back to America. I'm stuck. I can't take a plane anywhere. Claustrophobia. And Marina did it just once. It's about 2 hours, and it's the strangest thing you've ever seen. She just walks around and feels things and tells you things. She'll explain it. And for the first time in years, I was able to go at the back seat of a sports car, which is like very claustrophobic for me, with 2 kids on top of me. And I stayed there for 40 minutes when the car is not running. And I was like, okay, I'm still afraid to enter an elevator, but I'm going to be testing the water slowly. So there was an immediate effect. And the funny thing is, the night after you did this to me, I had a dream. It was like the whole night. I was going in elevators up and down, on planes, and even in my dreams, I get panic attacks I was there sitting on the plane. I enjoyed it like I used to do before this happened. I was taking elevators. I was not freaking out. So it first came in a dream that till before I was, willing to even try. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty amazing. Let's just share a little bit about the session so that people know what to expect. Like nothing weird or negative is happening during the session. Like there isn't anything to be afraid of. We work with your energy, with your inner state, yes, but basically you are just observing. So the process is happening on an energy level. Some people might feel something during the session, get sleepy, or even some emotions may show up. Others may not feel anything at all. Both cases are fine. But you are not going through some kind of, very painful process, like, some kind of something that will re-trigger trauma or anything like that. So the session is pretty much, a conversation, and then you can just relax like you did during the session and observe the process. And
but
now
you have to get naked and jump on one leg.
yeah, that's a joke, but yeah, you have to, you have to jump, but in another sense, like you have to jump into the future, like you have to be willing to change your life, like and that leads me to something which I was planning to talk about a little bit later, but I will mention it right now. What stops people from having what they want? Because if we think about it, like most of us want more money, more health, better relationships, all the things. Why we don't have those? One of the main reasons is that we are the popular comfort zone, right? We have all seen, the many stories about this, and it's really important. The comfort zone is not where we feel nice. Actually, we may feel quite bad there. But the important thing is it's what's familiar to us. It's what feels natural. Like we've been there, we know what's happening, even if it's, all the pain, but it's familiar. And for the brain, that indicates, okay, we are safe. You might suffer, you might feel bad, not important. Your brain wants you to survive. So it's quite difficult for us people to move forward and actually to have more, to open up to have more. Because one thing I can also tell you is that the thing that defines what you have actually in your life externally is defined by what is inside of you, but not this superficial conscious level where you say, yes, I want the relationships, I want the money, I want the kids. Okay, that's the surface level. Deep inside of you, what are you ready for? What do you really, really want defines what you have on the outside. So, and there is always, it's like a mirror, like by looking in your external world, like the money you have, the relationships, the health, all of those things, that describes exactly what is inside of you. And it's not easy to access this level, to look inside of yourself and to really admit that you have some benefits from being exactly where you are, even if it seems very difficult, very bad. Nobody in their mind.
They're very personal in your own. Yeah, it's exactly.
So that's the level with which we work. This deep inner state. So not the superficial conscious idea. Yes, we start with your desire, like you are defining the direction. Yes. But then during the process, we are getting to the deeper layer, which is not about the superficial. It's not about the information. It's what we call the state of feelings and basically your inner state. That's what we work with. And there we can find so many surprises, like contradictions, self-sabotage, all of those things. And what's even more interesting, where are all of those things coming from? They're actually not your personal. They come from your family field, from your family system. And that applies to everybody. Like, you may not like your parents, you may not live with them, you may not know them, you can be adopted. That doesn't matter. Energetically, everything is happening in the same way for everybody. Like, we cannot cut this flow. And what happens is that many generations before us, like our ancestors, all of their experiences are affecting us. So we have the flow from mother's side, from father's side, and we get all the stuff. Yes, of course, some resources, talents, gifts, potential, absolutely, that's there as well. But we also receive like the blockages and the consequences from the problems that they have had. Mm-hmm. And all of this is affecting us without, without us recognizing it, actually. And very often, how you can understand that, like when something happens in your life and it's like, actually happening for you, you have a reaction. For example, let me think of something. There is, for example, you are touching something which is hot. Okay, like for example, a hot tea, let's say. You touch it, you burn your hand and you pull your hand back. Like, this is a reaction, because in reality, you have the glass and it's hot, and your reaction to it is to pull your hand. That's the level of reaction. Then we have a level of information. It could be when you start thinking about it, or you have some knowledge. Oh, you know what? Those glasses, sometimes they may burn you, or sometimes there could be poison in this. You have to be careful. Like, this is the level of information. We might have our personal information that we have gained, we have gathered in life. We can also receive that again from the family system. And there is a third level, which is even deeper. This is the level of the feelings and the inner states. And this is the case when, for example, I'm seeing the glass of tea or water, whatever, and it triggers something within me. For example, I become anxious, or I crave for this, oh, I want this so much. Why is this happening? When your response is not just a reaction, but it comes from a deeper space, this is the feeling level. Mm-hmm. And that's where the family system affects us. And this is a very silly example with the tea and the glass, but it applies to everything in life. Money, kids, relationships, health, all of those things. And imagine, for example, this is actually very common, a woman who wants to have children. And consciously, she's like, yes, I want this, I dream about this. And it doesn't happen for her. And even worse, the doctor may say, you're perfectly healthy. We don't know how to help you. We don't know what to do. Yes, consciously, on the level of reaction and information, she wants this for herself. But if in her family system, there are many stories of women who have had, for example, a very traumatic birth, or they have died during the labor, or after having the child, for example, they have lost their partner. Like, there could be many scenarios which can block this flow for the woman. It's always a defense mechanism.
Even if
yes, absolutely. Yes, many generations like that. Those could be 5-10 generations before us. So we have no clue that those people have ever existed, and their flow is still affecting us. Mm-hmm. And it's always, the idea is always to protect us, but it's also blocking us. Mm-hmm. So what we do with the GSR session is that we get to this level of the deep feeling, the deep state. And from there, we find all of the family scenarios which are connected to this particular problem you have, or a goal which you want to achieve. And it's not a manipulation. I'm not doing anything. I'm not putting anything from myself or something external. What we do during the session is we just symbolically fix the energy where it was broken. And we allow the initial resource to become accessible to you. That's it. So it feels, very natural and very fulfilling, because suddenly you feel like, something is coming to the right place, something that you feel should be there, but is kind of inaccessible. Now you have access to it. So it's really an amazing work, and it affects your life right away. Like at the end of the session, your mindset very often will be different, and even external events will change, because that's a very good starting point. Check your life in reality. It mirrors what is inside of you when we change, but what is inside of you on this very deep level, not those illusions we have, and superficial ideas. Yeah, but the really deep ones. And when we change this very deep personal layer, then the external also changes.
And can I also share my impression? Because it wasn't, you were not only at the beginning, you asked me a few questions, and then you said, I need to set something. It was so interesting. You just said, I got the feeling. It felt to me like you were like a psychic. You're just moving from position to position, and you discovered around 29 reasons
yes.
for claustrophobia. And Marina would just walk around, she would step, and you see her she's moving around, like walking and stopping, and she would get the feeling and she would tell me what it is. And it immediately came out with my father, has a lot to do with that, obviously. And she moved to another place, and she said, a tragedy, like a woman losing a child or something. And that's my great-grandmother. She lost 8 children. She was telling, for a moment, I thought she was psychic. She would tell so many things that I recognize consciously, that they are as a part of the history and part of my interaction with my family or what's happening in their life. And she just stays there till the energy is fixed and cleansed, and then moves around. And I even thought I want to do more sessions for different things now, for self-acceptance, something that I have a big problem with. Feed on myself.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, how things work. Somewhere, as I said, many generations, or we don't know how many generations ago, an actual person that belongs to your family system has been through some actual problem. Like for them, they have touched the hot water or the hot tea, like they have had an event and they have had a reaction, like a direct response to something which has been adequate, like because it really happens and they are triggered and they respond to this. And let's say, unfortunately, yes, in the history we have many wars, and that has marked, like, I think every family for unfortunately. And imagine you have had a grandfather who has been very brave and very independent and courageous. They go to a war and they get hurt or they even die. What happens is that this initial resource of braveness, courage, independence gets either blocked or at least is transformed in a negative way. And for the future generations, in not similar situations, but much more insignificant, like not really dangerous situations, let's say you need to make a presentation in front of people, like your life is not in danger, you are not risking anything, but yet you feel like, oh my gosh, it's like life or death. I feel like, I will faint, or like your reaction is not adequate. And it happens because it's not just your response to the situation, but it's your grandfather or the person that has been to the war. Because yes, in the presentation, you need to show up. You need maybe to be courageous, brave. Maybe you have innovative ideas to present. Okay, the worst scenario might be that you will be rejected, but you won't die, right? But internally, your state might be, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I just cannot do it. That happens with everything, from the most simple situations in life to the most important ones. And what we are doing with this session is we are finding this resource. We call this the resource, the actual figure that has had actual problem where it blocked things. We fix it. And here I need to clarify that we are not changing anything for the ancestors or for your parents, for example. We are just fixing your very own energy flow. So it won't affect other family members. It can only improve, and it will improve the flow you are giving to your children. Like when you fix those, they will not get the blockages, for example, with the braveness or whatever. Like we have countless of those. But it's an internal work again. And we are just allowing you to get access to your initial resources. That's why it feels so amazing, because it's very, very natural.
And it doesn't involve much effort at all on your personal side.
Yes, absolutely. Like we just start with the conversation, and yes, we discuss, like there is a, like a way to do this to get to this feeling level. And for people who are interested how exactly I'm doing this, what I'm using are very simple papers, like white papers. There isn't anything like magical or very strange about the papers. We use them as anchors for the energy. It's just how the method works. The psyche needs to connect to something. So during the session, you will see me moving around the papers. With the papers, I'm marking the places of different members so that I can feel their energy for you and kind of like understand what are the negative scenarios, where are the problems. So yeah, it's just a protocol which I'm following, according to the method. But the papers are just, like the anchors for the energy. And everything happens on an energy level. Like you are wherever you are, we are working, through Zoom, and you can even drink coffee and relax during the session, actually.
Well, can I ask you something? What if someone's soul wants to experience, for example, a ban on something in this lifetime, wants to experience what it is to be, moneyless or whatever, penniless, or to experience poverty? Aren't you interfering with someone's fate? If you
Yes, that's a very good question. We can say it's about karma, right? Like what's happening with our karma, and are we affecting something? We are not changing your karma. We are just helping you do the best, because karma is even deeper than that. And yes, we are all born in the right family, the right system, with the exact issues we need to work on. But the purpose is not to suffer. The purpose is to resolve those. And what we are doing is we are helping you use the energy in a more constructive way. The energy is still yours. It's still the same, but you are more resourceful to do more meaningful things with this. I can give you an example with astrology. Like, let's take the outer planets, even though this applies to all of the planets. We have different level of manifestation. The lowest level can be very destructive, right? Like Uranus can destroy, Neptune can lie and cheat and, can bring addictions. Pluto can be manipulative and cruel. Like that's the lower level. But on a higher level, each of the planets manifests in different ways. Uranus can be the innovator, not the one who destroys, but the one who innovates and brings something new. Neptune, the highest level, is unconditional love and creativity. Pluto can be about transformation and also doing something even for the whole humanity, or at least for the group. What we are doing here is we are helping you move to the higher level.
Yes.
So we are not skipping something. We are not cheating karma. Like you have your lessons and that's why you have those resources, but we help you to use them in a more constructive way.
And in a less painful within yourself, like a contradiction and
Yes, yes. Like the psyche, as we were talking about this with you, the psyche is so interesting and we have so many inner contradictions. We are self-sabotaging ourselves all the time. And it's difficult to have more. You know, I'm noticing this, the more I work with people, the more I'm sure about this, how we need to be ready to have more in life, whatever this more is, more health, more money, better relationships. It's not easy. And another thing which I'm also seeing is that it's very difficult for people to allow themselves to grow and have more than their ancestors and their parents.
mm-hmm.
And this can also be something that can lead to self-sabotage. For example, to be the first one to have your own business or to earn certain amount of money or to have a high education or to have a stable family without divorces.
Mm-hmm.
If this is not typical for the family system, it's very difficult for us to allow ourselves to have it. And very often this leads to self-sabotage. And consciously we say, well, yes, I want to have more money. I want to be better than my parents. And we find some ways subconsciously not to have this because it's difficult to have this inner permission to be more than your ancestors. Yes, that's very big. That's like...
You can, yeah. Can you give a few examples with people you've worked, like what happened?
Sure, yes.
Not mention, but just...
Yes, of course. Privacy is always important. We have worked on very practical things. For example, money. This is something that I think applies to everybody. I have had clients who come with a very serious money problem and money deficiency. And by the end of the session, their state is different. Their mindset is different. They have ideas. And for example, a few weeks, I think, or a month later, they're texting me and they say that, oh, things have changed for me. I have a job, things are different. So literally in reality, things are changing for them. Mm-hmm. So money, a very personal focus for me is also psychosomatic things, issues. Like I'm a believer that actually every health problem is psychosomatic. Mm-hmm. Nothing appears just out of nowhere, whatever it could be.
New physical medicine, isn't it? Like the
yes,
German medicine.
Exactly. The German new medicine is incredible. I really respect it. And with realizing where is the root of your problem, for some people, this might have a healing effect. But unfortunately, from my experience, it's not for everybody. Sometimes you understand where the problem comes from. Very simple example, skin problems like eczema or some kind of dermatitis. The most universal reason or cause for that is some kind of separation. Oh. Yes. It could be happening right now. It could be somewhere in the past. We need to explore. You might be responding to something that has happened years ago, but this is very, very common. Skin issues, there is some kind of separation. We can get more specific depending on the part of the body. We can, of course, dig deeper, but that's like very general. For some people, when they actually understand this, oh, yes, I, for example, separated with my partner 6 months ago, that makes total sense. Yes, this can be a healing information for them and it can resolve their problem. But unfortunately, it's not all the time. Sometimes we understand consciously, but it's not enough. Mm-hmm. When we combine this with GSR, we work with this inner emotion that is the trigger of the health condition or the problem you have. And that's how we can really kind of like set free from those initial emotions or the causes for the health situation.
Because separations happen to everyone, but why does someone react way more intensely than another? And that's what the second method goes into, that the GSR.
Yes, we need to explore, like, what are your personal feelings? Someone may feel abandoned, other person might be angry, or they may feel they are unworthy. Like, we need to find what is your deep feeling about this. Yeah, it will be very personal for everybody. Yeah, and another thing I want to add also, especially if we concentrate on the goals. Let's say that we want to achieve a goal, like we want to start our own astrology practice, for example. I think that would be relevant to many people here in the audience. Or I don't know, we want to be more creative, whatever, or have a child or find a partner. It's extremely important. What is your energy? On what energy you want to do this? If your energy sounds, or inner state sounds like, oh my God, if I don't have a child, I feel worthless, or life doesn't matter if you don't have a child, or if I don't have a partner, I feel incomplete. If that's like our inner motivation, but I'm talking about this again, very deep level, the inner state, imagine what kind of results you will have. Yes, you may find a partner, but it would be a compensation. It won't be fulfilling. It won't be resourceful. And sometimes you may not be able even to find a partner with such energy. It depends. So what we are doing is, yes, we take your goals as our, like, the destination you want to get to, but we work with your motivation. And if it sounds like, if I don't have it, I'm not worthy, or life doesn't matter, or I'd better die, or sometimes we can be so self-destructive. You know, sometimes for women, very deep, it may sound like, if I don't have a child and a family, I'd better die. When you have this energy, you can't create something resourceful. It will be compensation. So we fix this, and then what happens is, first, you may realize you no longer want this. Sometimes it happens, and this will be more authentic. It would be your deep truth. Or if you still feel, yes, I really want to have a child, I want to have a family, great. But this time it would be with this resourceful energy, which would be because you want to give your love to someone, you want to have positive experiences, but it won't sound like, oh my gosh, without this, I'm nothing, or I will die. So you are feeling resourceful, and you are feeling fine with yourself right now. And from there, you can achieve your goals.
So they will give rather than be saved.
Exactly. Yes, this is so common, actually, for the motivation, especially for women, to have a relationship. Lack of certainty, financial or whatever, lack of stability. So what we do is we get to the root of this. And it's not easy, by the way, to look into those. Like, sometimes we have all kinds of resistance, and, you know, because we don't want to admit this. But the deeper we get to the truth, the more profound your changes will be. Because when we realize, or you realize that, well, what I really want is to have stability. I want to have a home and to feel secure. Okay, we will work on this level. Let's help you get this security and stability. And from there, it's like, you know, we will help you get this without the compensation, without this fake idea that you need a husband for that. And when you have this stability, then if you want to have a husband or a partner, it would be because you want to grow together. You want to create something nice together, but not because you feel like, oh my God, I can't live on my own, or, you know.
Yeah, and no one will confess that that's why they want a relationship. They don't probably even realize it many times.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. Yes, this is very deep. And here it's very important also our principle, no blame, no guilt. Like here, the purpose is not to, admit and see, oh my gosh, I'm so terrible, I'm so materialistic, or whatever, I'm selfish. We need to accept all of this. Like the psyche is so complicated. That's how we are built. It's very beautiful. And the more we accept ourselves and live an authentic life, the happier we will be. And the results that we have, the goals that we will achieve, there will not be a compensation. It will feel like abundance, like, I'm expanding, and it's just, I want to improve things. One thing which I also really love is when people don't come with the idea that they have a problem, but because they want to make things even better. That's a very resourceful state. To say, yes, I have my family, they're great. Yes, I'm healthy, I have money, but I want to make this even better. That's very resourceful.
Whatever blocks are there, blockages, yeah.
Yes. So this is, how in GSR this is called the flow of life. On the flow of life, we have constant development and expansion. Where there are limits, for example, you say, well, I want to earn X amount of money a year and that's it. And I will be done. Like that's my final destination. That's not a flow of life. This is like a death process where there is ending of something. There is a top. On the flow of life, you keep expanding and you keep growing about everything, emotionally, personally, in your relationship, with money, with everything in life.
It's incredible. It's so true, because for example, I've never thought I would make money. I had big issues, and it happened that it started, and at the beginning I didn't believe it for years. I felt fearful, but it carried on. So I calmed down all blockages. But even now I'm like, well, why should I do more than this? I can't even spend this now. I don't know what to do with it. And this is, here it is. I've put it up. It's like, what can I do that other people need it more? I was like, I'm satisfied with everything, but there you go. There is some blockage there, despite of abundance and flow.
Exactly. You may have a lot, and it's normal to want to have more. This is not selfish. You are not taking from other people. This concept about the expanding universe, like everything is expanding. So when you have more, you are not taking away from others. If somebody feels like that, they need to work on that. They need a session specifically on that.
Unless you're literally doing that, unless you're exploiting others.
That's a different story, of course. We are not talking about any type of manipulation or taking advantage or doing something wrong. No, here it's about creating and doing more and feeling good about it, and also benefiting from that. That's the most natural thing. And we help people to get.
I imagine that the people who are creating the Great Reset, they think they're creating and wanting to benefit everyone.
Well, everybody has their own story. So we are trying to do the best we can with what we have. So, yeah.
But it's a wonderful way to approach everything in life, from a point of view, not of co-creation, like you described, of how can I expand further and make it better, rather than how can I be saved or escape that, or
that's the flow of life. When we are doing things with this energy, it's about never-ending expansion and growth, and everything should get better and better.
Wonderful.
That's it. Like that's the natural way for things to be. Where we have limits, that's not the natural thing. Where there are like limitations, the top of something, we should work on that.
Wonderful.
So
well,
Yeah, it's an amazing
system.
it's an amazing work.
I
Yeah.
always learn so many new things from you, and I've already booked my next 3 sessions with Marina. Actually, I'll be working on other things now. I want to
Yeah.
try remove acceptance and so on. But if anyone
Yeah.
wants to contact you, I'll put a link below. And as Marina said, in most cases, one session is enough for one issue. And so,
Mhm. Yes. Here we also need to say that every case is unique. And yes, very often one session is enough. Sometimes we need more than one session. So we should consider that as well, that sometimes there could be like different angles. And, but yes, like everything, you know, what is the motto of this type of work? Every problem is solvable and every goal is achievable. Yes, it depends on your story. There could be things that may require more work. Yes, but everything can be achieved. That's a very different concept and mindset, you know, to open up for this, but it really works. And it's an incredible journey. Like once you get on this path, it's like truly amazing.
oh.
And one thing I want to add also is that this can work in a great way with astrology. Because of course, astrology is our greatest passion here. And I can say that astrology has definitely changed my life, and it's incredible for awareness, for the clarity. But with GSR, now we have a more therapeutic method. So with astrology, we can see where could be your problems. For example, let's say that someone has Pluto squaring their moon, for example. We can work on that, on the energy of this aspect, how you feel about this. For example, do you have control issues? Do you have irrational fears? All of those things, we can address this, and we will not turn Pluto into something completely different. We will just help you feel this and experience this on the highest possible level. So, for example, you have more access to your magnetic energy, your ability to sense people, to transform people, to influence others. So that's again Pluto, but a very different side of Pluto. So astrology with the GSR, with this method, can also do miracles.
Are you offering this reading? I think you're offering.
Yes,
I'll
yes.
put the link
This
for
is
that
also.
as well.
Mhm,
That's
yes.
astrology reading that helps you find, and you said especially the notes. While you were doing the session on me, a lot of the things that came up for me, when I thought after that, they were connected to the notes. You kept saying you have to allow yourself to feel joy and to feel that life is not drudgery, but it's like, and that's my Leo South node, North node, sorry. Like I need to go towards, and not everything is, hard and it's just joyful, like children. You kept saying like children feel, you have to allow yourself to feel that. And I guess it naturally comes out even without looking at the chart.
Yes, absolutely, because we work with your energies, basically. And your energies are also indicated in the horoscope. So it's still you, but we can specifically address the nodes. There is a package of 3 sessions in which we focus specifically on the nodes, generally on the South node and on the North node. So why I chose this approach, because the nodes are probably the most important points in your chart, and they are defining your direction.
Hello. Oh.
Where you may have resources that you haven't completely used, or at least not in the best possible way. We help you focus on that. And then the North node, which is your future growth and where you can benefit and what you also need to learn, of course. And you know from your years of experience how it's not easy to open up for the North node. And it takes time, yes. And sometimes we have a resistance, again, the comfort zone and, being afraid from the new. But when we open for this, that's when we actually grow. And I have said this many times, like if someone comes to me and they are in a total crisis, like nothing works, relationships, money, everything is bad, what I would recommend them is to focus on their nodes.
Wow.
Even if it doesn't seem like the North Node is related, let's say, to relationships, or the particular life area, but in general, if things are very bad for you, you should work on your North Node, because that will kind of like open up the whole chart and the whole potential. That's very general advice. Of course, for some people, we may find other points that can also be important triggers, but that's like a very general advice.
Mm-hmm. You basically, if nothing's going well, you've misaligned yourself from your destiny and path. So go into that area.
And you are blocking yourself from the resources you have for different reasons. It's very subconscious, it's very deep, yes.
So people would excuse my inappropriate and crude jokes, but I'm trying to use my Leo. I was interfering with inappropriate jokes. So I'm crudely not going in that direction.
Yes.
So much, Marina. That was so enlightening. Again, I'll put link below if you want to check out the sessions that Marina is offering, how to contact her. And hopefully you can connect to the right people, and God sends us light workers, and he sends us, and he sends us those incredible techniques as a dispensation from the higher worlds. I'm glad that there are people like you who are applying this and developing it, not just taking whatever they're given, but enriching it further. And we need more like you.
It's incredible. Here, I want to mention the creator of the method, because I'm just a specialist. I'm trained to do this work for people, but I haven't invented this method. It comes from very, very high levels. The creator is called Dmitry Ustinov. And he is just a whole other story, but incredible, incredible technique. So yeah, I'm grateful.
He's a shaman. He's a shaman, you told me.
Not exactly. He's just a very open person, and obviously he's been ready to receive this. So yeah, but as you said, I think that we are at this point of the evolution of humanity, and we are ready and opening up for such innovative methods, because this thing is an incredible gift. It's not out of nowhere. It's
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy to share this with people, and it's honestly, it's an incredible joy to see how it changes people's lives. Like and it feels so natural because of this flow of life that we connect to. And and life can turn into a miracle. Like many of us have programs and blockages, and like life sucks, it's very difficult, or we should suffer or whatever, or we should pay a high price for everything we have. All of that are programs. Life is not about that.
Yes, you got to work on that for me. I feel bad for everything good that happens to me, and so now something bad needs to happen, or I need to work harder. It shouldn't be so easy.
Exactly. Those are programs, and they define our life strategies.
Wonderful. I love your knowledge, and I can't wait to have my next session with you. And for anyone who would like to connect with Marina, links below, and looking forward to having you again soon.
Sure. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.